Hello and welcome to Beyond the Edge. I'm your host, Brandy Deutsch.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee DeMayo, your co-host. Light, love, and blessings.
I say that every show. I'm so excited. I just stay in an excited state, I think. But I really love introducing new things to people. And I really enjoy connecting with people on what they're passionate about. And so today we're going to be talking about the Wim Hof method. And for those of you who don't know what that is also known as ice bath. And our guest today, who is Justin Weiss, he holds what's called Ice Church. And it's controversial too, which is why I really wanted to talk about it. So I want to introduce Justin Weiss. He's a certified Wim Hof method instructor, and he lives in the mountains outside of Boulder, Colorado. That's my dream. Okay, just so you
It's
know.
beautiful up there.
That's my
It's
dream.
incredible, yeah.
And he runs a little event called Ice Church, at which he guides Wim Hof method breathwork, coaches people through ice baths, and donates 100% of the proceeds to a different nonprofit each week. And Justin is additionally a certified master hypnotist. I always get that. And he holds a BA in contemplative psychology. So,
Wow.
Justin, welcome. We're so excited to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Oh.
This is so exciting. And
Wait, so I gotta get to start with the first question today.
yes,
Do you let people come with retreat groups to your? Because I'm just thinking we've been trying to plan that. You might be our first stop.
I might be. I have done a few Wim Hof method retreats and different retreats with various modalities where we include this. I even recently did a yoga retreat where last minute the attendants were told, "Oh yeah, we're doing ice baths," where they thought they were going to be doing yoga. Everyone did it. Everyone loved it. So yes, let's talk about that in the future.
Okay.
I love it.
Cue up, Brandy. Cue up.
I couldn't wait. That
No,
question
I could
was
not wait.
burning.
I was like,
love
oh my
it.
gosh.
Follow that bliss, girl. So Justin, how in the world did you get into this? How did you hear about it, or like what happened? How did you come to do this?
I'll start when I was 18. I'm 28 now, to be clear. I basically out of nowhere developed a chronic pain issue. One day, my neck, back, everything just started hurting. I believe I was trying to do push-ups, and this was after a lifetime of no exercise. And I was trying to exercise and get my body fit because I was all depressed, not in my body, and just wanted to make a significant change. And then, lo and behold, just started getting these extreme pains. That transformed into getting extreme fatigue and then issues sleeping and all these other things, even cognitive issues, like all started at pretty much at once. And I began by seeing chiropractors and then started exploring different diets. Like I did every diet under the sun, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto, everything with some benefit from each of them, psychedelic medicines, plant medicines, everything. And while I would find like small amounts of relief in my pain issues, nothing was really helping to the point where I felt like I had my life back. And I believe I was 23, so about 5 years later of like fighting to not be stuck in bed because I was hurting so darn bad. A friend of mine sent me a YouTube video and just said, "You should watch this. This was pretty cool." And it was a Vice documentary. If you're familiar with the journalism folks, Vice, it was on Wim Hof. And this was before he had as much of a worldwide recognition, and wound up just laying in bed watching this documentary. And it was about this crazy Dutch man who would teach these wild breathing exercises and then run people through cold exposure. And I was watching it for fun, thought it was cool. It was fringe, it was weird. And someone in the documentary, I believe this one, mentioned that they had a chronic pain issue and it helped them. So at this time, I was in my, I believe, first year at Naropa University, a Buddhist-inspired university that I went to, and didn't have much money, and spent what I had through a payment plan on his course, which was, spending money to the Netherlands. My bank even contacted me like, "We think this is fraud. What's going on?" It was a really strange video course. And it was Wim with a group of people recorded teaching how to do this technique. So I began practicing, meaning I began doing this breathing technique and then doing cold showers because it was about I think it was September 2015 when this happened. And within 3 days of doing this, I started feeling my pain just dissipating in a way that it never has before, right? It was going away and I was getting more energy and I was actually like wanting to stand up. I was wanting to go on walks. I was wanting to use my body. This was after 3 days. So I knew
Wow.
something was up and kept practicing, kept going deeper. And long story short, through a series of synchronicities, was able to eventually train with Wim and become I believe in the second or third round of United States Wim Hof instructors.
Amazing.
Big part of my
Amazing.
life. Yeah.
And so do you have any pain today? Like, are you suffering with any of that now?
The pain stuff, not so much. Just for transparency, where I'm at, I've been battling a lot of fatigue and insomnia issues.
Mm.
I've had insomnia since I was a toddler and have tried. That's another thing I've just struggled with. So that's there. And what I was told, and I kind of skipped over this in my background, is that I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Mm.
What that is questionable, and it's kind of used as an umbrella term in a lot of cases, and I do believe that was the case I was in. And that being said, I still identify as having it, and I want to say I'm cured of it, but there are ways that it does manifest in my life that the breathwork and cold exposure does not remediate. But in the realm of pain, yeah,
Mm.
I am generally like pain free unless I do something. There are certain movements and certain things I could do that could flare it up, but in
Mm.
general, living free of pain, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really, really amazing. I mean, from what I know about fibromyalgia, there could be some connections to toxicity, right? And
Mm.
so it would make sense that breath work would also help with that because breath work really helps to detox the body. And I'm just so curious more about the ice bath part because it just seems like it's like actually, it does make some sense because when we hear about athletes who recover from injuries, they tell them to soak in an ice bath. Like I've seen that. What are some of the benefits of actually doing that?
There are actually similarities between this breathwork and the ice bath that I do want to name that makes it distinguished from other modalities of breathwork that many may be familiar with, like holotropic breathwork and the types that are used to create like expansive or ecstatic liberated states. While this does do that, this breath work involves breath retentions after exhales, which cause a myriad of physiological effects, which are really similar to the physiological effects of the ice bath. So it's like preparing yourself for the ice bath and then getting in the ice bath with many of the same benefits. Those would be, I'll just name my favorites, would be, first off, resets the immune system. It can optimize one's immune system. For people like myself who may have an autoimmune, if that is what this fibromyalgia stuff is, where the immune system is attacking the body, it is overactive. Even just doing the breath work, but doing the breath work and the ice bath resets it, right? It causes that system to regulate instead of being underactive or overactive, which causes increased inflammation, brings you back to a balance. Now, that concept of underactive, overactive, two extremes, coming back to a balance, that captures all of these other benefits, being like nervous system benefits, right? Being stuck in a fight or flight state or being stuck in a rest and relax state where you're just like all the time. It takes you between the two extremes and then balances you, right? You ever like think of that embarrassing thing you did like 20 years ago and then you're like, oh gosh, and then you just get like this rush of
Yeah.
even though it's not
Yesterday.
happening in front of you. Yeah, it happens all the time to
Yeah.
people. It is something that happens to humans. It's a stress response induced by
Mhm.
thought. So doing an ice bath is a way you can actually mitigate that issue of having a stress response that does not fit the situation. Uh,
To a particular issue, kind of like what you're saying.
that's
Can
just
can
one example, but I just mean
Okay,
in general. In general,
sure, sure.
yeah, responding with stress in a more efficient manner, more or less, that fits the situation.
Got
If
it.
you need like this rush when you're in danger, you're like hell yeah, go into fight or flight. But if
Mhm.
it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And doing ice baths and doing breath work does send you between these two extremes of the nervous system: sympathetic, fight or flight; parasympathetic, rest and relax. You go back and forth and back and forth, and then you stabilize. and
Mm.
you
So
remain there.
so you're saying, like, through breath work, you find a place within yourself that you can get in that cold water and not tense up and wanna run from it? Because that's what I visualize, just
No,
'cause
I'm glad you say that. That's a huge part of it that's, I think, missed about this method where people just do the breath work or just do the ice bath.
yeah.
The breath work has so many physiological but also psychological benefits that allows you to get in the ice and then recognize, like, ouch, yeah, this hurts, and also I can be with the discomfort. There are some physiological effects too that literally cause the body to not respond to an extreme temperature as life or death, as pain, where, like the hot stove thing, you touch the hot stove,
Mm.
like, not like that. There's a space between it where your body is able to just be with it and reap the benefits. So yes.
Okay,
That's
cool.
very
Yeah.
interesting because when we think about discomfort and safety, right?
Hmm.
I actually have been thinking about this a lot because I used to say things like safe space. But
Hmm.
I mean, the truth is, if we're not in danger, physical, mortal danger, we're pretty safe. It's
Hmm.
really just that feeling of uncomfortability and those degrees of uncomfortability. And I
Hmm.
would think something like an ice bath could help train the brain to understand that you're safe, you're just
Hmm.
uncomfortable,
Well,
right?
Yeah, can I speak to that, Brandy? Because that's a really
Please.
good point, and I'm glad you bring that up. And this is a whole rabbit hole to go down, and a lot of people are postulating this. There's whole books on it. But all of our ancestors were always exposed to environmental stressors. That was it.
Mhm.
Constant stressors from every direction, being it weather, predators, whatever. And
Yeah,
now we have this. We're so safe. And
completely.
it's
Mhm.
likely that so many of these issues that we have in modern humanity, be it autoimmune issues, of course, mental illness, or whatever you want to call it, forms of neurodivergence, come from growing up with a lack of stressors. And the cold is one of those stressors that all of our ancestors, up until we were able to get these great regulatory mechanisms around us, they were exposed to.
Mhm.
And they have these incredible effects on the body that are necessary. That's just how we evolved, how we adapted. So this method is like rewilding yourself to an extent of going into the stressor intentionally, regulating yourself and coming out. And I think that's why a lot of people get so many benefits on so many levels, is because of that, because we're so damn safe all the time. And because we are so perpetually safe, we are not evolved to be in that level of safety. We are evolved to be combating stressors left and right, not
Mm.
well,
imaginary ones, but real ones.
I
So,
mean, just for example, the freeze we had here in, February this year,
mhm,
really, are we safe when we don't know how to do anything without those mechanical comforts? I mean, honestly, what delusions are we living in that are illusions, that creates the idea that we're safe and we're
mhm,
not because we have no, a lot of people can survive. I mean, obviously they did, but the
mhm,
struggles of how to, they don't have the
mhm,
basic. And my daughter and I were talking about the other day, just looking at how the city around us is built up, we're not meant to live this way. And
mhm,
that's, the separation from the earth and the grounding and the exposure to things causes all the mental health issues that and physical ailments. So,
mhm,
something as simple as walking barefoot, we talked about that on a show not too long ago.
mhm.
It keeps us in touch with what really is safe for us, what's really good for us. And so I don't buy into the we're safe just because we have four walls around us.
Yeah, I
I just don't.
I absolutely agree. And that being said, the notion of like throwing yourself into the wilderness and just like exposing yourself doesn't work. You're going to traumatize yourself. You're
Mhm.
going to hurt yourself if you're not
Mhm.
adequately prepared. And that's a large reason why I offer this weekly event, is for people to have a 2-hour container to be unsafe, to go into a situation that shocks and does a number to the body, and then come out the other end, and gradually stepping into that, because wouldn't be prepared otherwise. So
Right.
a gradual
Yeah.
approach really does work for people. And then eventually you can become a whim and just go climb mountains in shorts and do crazy stuff like he did.
Yeah, I'll wait on the ground for y'all. I'm okay with not climbing mountains, and I'll have clean shorts for those that have accidents, fear of heights.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
that happens.
I love it. I love it. So I want to share a photograph. I got to share this photograph of Justin. I love this photograph. You just look so happy and like so like ecstatic in this photograph. So what was going on for you in this photograph, Justin?
This was one of the first actual ice churches. When I started this event, it wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened, where I was like working on a marketing campaign with some coworkers slash friends for the CBD company I work at. And we were training to climb a mountain in shorts, and people just wound up wanting to come and train with us, us doing ice baths and breath work. So I would just have like a dozen people at my house every week, and it just started happening. And this was one of the first ones where I just started posting online, like, "Hey, come to Ice Church," and we just had these giant groups, and just we're having so much fun. So when I was just in like a really, really happy state, just that, like having all these fun people around me. The experience of the ice bath is, yeah, at this point you can see I'm regulated. There's usually a point of cold shock, and then you regulate yourself and feel relaxed and warm in there. So it was just a blast.
Incredible. So where do you get all the ice?
Costco.
There's a plug for Costco.
Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you, Costco. We are sponsored by, no, we aren't actually.
Right. Today's show is brought to you by.
It'd be great if this podcast of all were sponsored by Costco.
I'm going to send it to them. Are you kidding?
It's $2 for 20 pounds of ice, which beats anywhere else.
Wow.
And I don't have a commercial ice maker. Most commercial ice makers don't make much more between 100 to 200 pounds in my experience. Plus, they're super expensive and hard to maintain. I use about anywhere between 300 to 500 pounds of ice per ice church, depending on the weather. So I go to Costco, and then it's a lot of driving, but worth it for the ice.
Wow, incredible. And so when people come to the Ice Church, they pay, and you say part of the proceeds go to nonprofit organizations, or all of the profit. It looked like 100%.
Yeah, completely.
How much does it cost to have one of these experiences?
$0 to whatever people pay. I have people that pay me 50 to 60 every week, and other people that give me $5, and people that aren't in a place to contribute but really need the work and pay nothing.
So it's donation basis.
It's completely donation based.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Set price, and it's opening that up. I generally donating between 100 to 300 a week. With the groups that I have, it's really great. So, and I'm paying like 30 to 35 for the ice, plus 5 to 10 for some pretty flowers, maybe some snacks. So it's a passion project. I have money allocated every month for my paychecks to do this.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
Good. And I don't intend on changing that anytime soon.
That's wonderful. Do you see clients? Like, do you have a client base and like people that you see for therapy or things like that?
Not actively. I was doing that for a little bit. I do work a 9-to-5 job. I'm also a muggle. So I work all day.
I don't know. You seem pretty magical to me, Jesse.
Yeah, right.
That said, it doesn't seem, if people need the work and need the support, I absolutely will do that with them, but I don't advertise and don't do that at the moment. There may be a time where I do, but I have a belief that people just coming to experience Ice Church even once per week is enough to reap the benefits and learn the breath work, learn how to regulate themselves in the cold so that they can do it on their own. But yes, if anybody does really need this special attention, I do that from here and there.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to reach out to some friends in Boulder that I know, and so maybe this might blow up for you. Just saying.
Yes, more.
I was just thinking, how can I get gift certificates for my kids that go? My son and his wife go to Colorado, and they're actually looking for property to move there. So I'm thinking, that could be a little trip for them when they're there looking for stuff. And
definitely. And maybe even retreat for us.
Well, and that's what I said. That was what I envisioned. I'm like, okay, we need to talk about hotels and where to stay.
Yeah, we can make that happen. That is where most of the, you can say, like, profits for myself that I've made from this work is through retreats strictly, and not really one-on-one. I did some workshops here and there, but I'm at a point where I'd rather just share the work weekly and let people come. And at the workshops, I do focus on the science more so of the scientific validation, how to really in depth of how to make your own practice, and then some advanced techniques. A lot of fluff, to be honest. It's a lot of fluff, and I'm looking to provide the experience and provide the change for people.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's why I'm so fixated on just doing it every Sunday,
Yeah.
making it accessible.
Well, just I mean, the thought came. I mean, do you have to do it there where you are? I wonder if there's a way to maybe you just bring your whole operation to Texas
Oh,
for
I
a
could come.
retreat.
I could
Yeah.
totally come there. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, it
We
doesn't
could
have to
totally
be up
do that.
here. Unless we wanted to climb the mountain in shorts and then have Dee Dee have clean shorts for us at the bottom. Then
I will. I'll have clean shorts. I'll either
yeah.
fix toddies or hot chocolate, whatever is
Yes.
appropriate. You know, I
I
am
love
not a
it.
mountain person. I don't mind the mountains, the trails, and all that, but
Mhm.
I have no need to throw myself down off of the because I was watching this thing and they climb up to throw themselves down. That makes no sense to me. But,
Yes,
you know, they do their
the
little
thrill.
pegs and then they're back. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
not for
exciting to
you.
me. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat. So,
Me
I'll
too.
Justin,
cheer you on.
how can people get in touch with you if they have questions or they'd like to come experience this?
The best way would be my Instagram, as you can see here at Weiss Choice. That's my last name, Choice. It is a joke. You get it? Weiss Choice, Weiss Choice.
Wise choice. I love it.
Yeah. You can also email me, justin@coldexposure.org, to get in touch. Either way, I also do have a Telegram group that we'll be sending info on at some point. t.me/ice church. That's it. And it's just a group that you can join on the app Telegram, used for encrypted messages, where I just post my events and pictures from the events and some information here and there. So
Awesome.
that will be probably the best way. But yeah, just follow me on Instagram. And then also I am on Facebook too, but trying to get more active on there. I forget
What
that it exists.
what I like about your Facebook is you have these little bits of videos of
Yes.
people coming out of the ice bath. I kind of wanted to show some of that and didn't
Yeah.
get the opportunity, but that's
Tell
just
me the Facebook
profound.
name.
It's Justin Weiss. But also, if you go to the instagram.com/Weiss Choice, they're all those videos are on there, and that's like the
Okay.
signature thing. So many people come just to get their slow-mo video.
Yeah. We got
It's incredible. I mean, just the expressions, and you can, I don't know, you can feel the ecstaticness in the body as they're coming out of that ice bath.
Mhm.
It's just really
so
beautiful.
I real quick back to when you were talking about some of the benefits for
Mhm.
yourself, the cognitive parts.
Mhm.
Have you had someone like me, for example, you know,
Mhm.
I've had a stroke. Some of the cognitive is a little weird.
Mhm.
And then there's age with cognitive too. Have you had
Mhm.
anyone, you know, give a testimony about reverse, having it improve, you know, or healing aspects after something that's that traumatic in the brain?
There are a number of people that have had anecdotes about that. It's an interesting territory because it's kind of questionable where the benefit's coming from.
Hmm.
People overall, yes, do get a benefit. What's actually happening, if it's neuroregenerative or if it's simply like allowing you to just come back into the soma, into the body, and have less chatter and less fight or flight, less orientation to the environment around you, and hypervigilance, and just being with yourself. Therefore, more space between thought. Therefore, more cognitive ability. Yeah, people do report stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
It's in general the people that should avoid it are folks with significant heart issues, or Raynaud's syndrome, the more intense one where you can't even go outside with your fingers turning white, and people with significant kidney issues as well.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's generally a pretty safe practice that shows some sort of benefit for everybody.
Awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful. Justin, thank you so much for being on the show today. I learned a lot. I think Dee Dee learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing is amazing. And I really hope, guys, if you're listening, go check out Justin's Instagram, go to go to the email, message him something. I mean, this is amazing. I think this is incredible modality to help people really get in touch and help them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Because it sounds like you also have a really amazing community up there, Justin.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much
Mhm.
fun. New people every week, and everyone just has a great time, even though it's an edgy, kind of scary thing for people. Everyone's just laughing and playing, and there's always dancing. It's great. So, yeah, I
Fantastic.
recommend it. Please reach out if anybody is interested.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Justin. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
If you know somebody who needs prayers or just light sent their way, you guys text us or send us a message at Beyond the Edge TV. You can text us at 805-500-3343. Thanks so much for joining us, Justin. Thank you for joining us out there. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, bye bye,
Beautiful. Thank
everyone.
you.